All right, I'm here with Shawn Pryor, who is in the last about 70 hours of your Kickstarter for Ignition. Can you tell me a little bit about that? And
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, sure. No problem, Chad. I got you. Okay. So Ignition is about a excuse me. Ignition is about a race car driver by the name of Jamel Reed. She's racing one of the biggest races of the racing season. She's new to the scene, but she's very high profile. And she's been making waves on the racing circuit. And in the biggest race of her career, she has the greatest moment of her career and also the lowest moment of her career simultaneously, which takes everything away from her. Her from takes away her racing profession, her life, everything takes everything away from her, and she ends up trying to make ends meet as time goes along because she's lost her sponsorship, she's lost her ability to race, all these things, and she's trying to find a way to make ends meet. She ends up taking on a job due to the fact that there is one thing in her life that she wants back more than anything in the world. I won't tell you what that is. You have to read the book to find that out. But in order to get that one thing back that she covets most, she has to take a job. She has to take a special job that requires her skills. Ignition is created by me along with Jenilyn Wright and Kelly Guillory. Myself and Jenilyn Wright were the writers. Kelly Guillory is the artist and letterer. The Ignition logo was designed by Jay Reed.
And what inspired the book?
I've always been a big fan of like racing, especially as a kid. As a kid, I was a big fan of racing, not for like the actual racers themselves, but more for like the cars, the speed, and stuff like that. I was really infatuated with speed as a child. How fast can you go? How dangerous can this get? And it wasn't me getting hurt, so I was like, yeah, go as fast as you can. So as a kid, I was infatuated with racing. And then when I got into my teens, not so much. But when the Fast and Furious movies came out back in the day, I loved all those movies, and now it's just this big old sprawling franchise that just ups the stakes with every single film that comes out now. And I was also a big fan of the Transporter film series. So I figured if we can combine racing with Fast and Furious, Transporter, and maybe a little bit of Days of Thunder, I think that would make for a really cool comic book. So that's why we were trying to. That's why we have this Kickstarter for Ignition and trying to raise $5,500 for it.
And so is everything pretty much ready to go? You just need the funding, or?
We need the funding. We got a little bit of production left on the first issue because it's for the debut issue. Just a little bit of production, but we expect a pretty quick turnaround to then get the rewards out. I mean, rewards. There's a digital reward. You can just get a deluxe digital issue for like $5, and your name will be in the backers credits on the back page of the digital issue. And then we have like print issues, and all those have like different variant covers. We have 6 different variant covers, and they're all Kickstarter exclusives, which means that everything that's printed for this Kickstarter, once it's gone forever. It will never be reprinted. As far as covers go, covers will never be reprinted. So if this ever does get like a direct market miniseries or get published somewhere else, it will have a completely different cover. So it makes everything that the backer gets exclusive to them, and it makes it special, makes it collectible for them. So but no, like to answer your question again, the production's almost done. We just need this money to print issues, take care of the last bit of production costs, and to get this out to the people.
So I know you're pretty into the. Are you still working with Action Lab?
That's actually a good question. As of February of this year, I stepped away from my second stint with the company. No hard feelings. It's just that there's a lot of things going on in my life personally. I had a lot of family that I need to take care of on top of my 9 to 5, on top of being engaged, on top of everything, and especially like creatively as well. So like I had to reprioritize a lot of things in my life in order for me to get better from like a health standpoint, and things like that. And so, I've, like I said, I did 2 full stints with Action Lab Entertainment, one from 2010 to late 2014, and then I believe 2016 till up until February 2020. And I feel I've contributed a lot to the company and helped build something, and helped a lot of creators, help get their books published. And so I think it's time now for me to take care of myself, and take care of myself and take care of my family, and see how much I got left in me.
Now, I've seen you've also done some recent work. You did some stuff with Mike Norton's Battle Pug. You worked with T. Franklin, and I had the chance to interview her 2 years ago at New York
Yes.
Comic Con.
Yes.
Yeah, but that was she seems to be a pretty nice lady, and I enjoyed her juke joints. So how was working with her, and of course Mike, because you go back with Mike to the CGS. I mean,
Yeah.
when Action Lab was first conceptualized.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, working with T, I've known T for years, and when she originally did Bingo Love, the original version of the graphic novel, and it was all done, she had asked me if I wanted to do a backup story, because they were going to do a deluxe edition called the Jackpot Edition. And I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, she wanted to challenge me, and I was just like, okay, that's cool. I was like, what kind of story? And she told me what the story was going to, she's like, this is what I would like the story to be. And I said, now, I've never written anything like that before. She was just like, I don't care. I know you're capable of it, so you're going to do it. And I said, oh, okay, fair enough, no problem. And so it was one of the most challenging stories that I've ever written, and it's a short story. It's not very long, but I loved it, and it's so like one of my favorite pieces I've ever written is in Bingo Love Jackpot Edition, and the story is called Secrets. It's a really good story. It's illustrated by Polina Ganesho, and hopefully I said her name correctly. But no, it was really cool. It was really cool. I love that story. I'm thankful for the opportunity that T gave me, and I love working with her. So yeah. Now with Mike and Battle Pug, that was coming out through Image a couple years ago, because like you said, known Mike for years, 4 years. A couple years ago at C2E2, he came up to me and he was like, hey, I want you to write some Battle Pug shorts. And I was like, me? For real? I mean, like, I was like, are you serious? He's like, no, I'm for real. I want you to write some Battle Pug shorts. I was like, okay, cool. And so some time passed, and and like he was getting some stuff worked out, and then he came back to me, like he reached out, he's like, hey, are you still going to write those? I was like, how many you need? And he's like, give me 2. I was like, I got you. And so I went back, reread the original Battle Pug, and picked some things that I felt that filled some filled some gaps in the, not in the holes in a bad way, but just filled those like little gaps in between. Like I wanted to be able to tell stories of things that happen in between all these strips. And so in the new Battle Pug that's out by Image, it's all new adventures, but like say for instance at the end of issue 1, you get a story you get a story that takes place right after the end of the webcomic. And then in issue 2, you get a story that takes place near the beginning of the webcomic. And it's just like all these like little fill-in stories. And I was able to like tap into my sense of humor, and it still feels like a Battle Pug comic. And I if I'm not mistaken, I got to work with Craig Cermak and Ray Anthony Height, artist-wise, and like that was freaking awesome. So so I'm thankful for those opportunities. Like those are probably my 2 biggest high-profile comics projects. So I'm thankful.
So should we expect any more of Cash and Carry or Force, or any of the stuff that you've successfully kickstarted before?
Well, the way things are going, because like I look at the sales. I've looked at the sales for Cash and Carry. I looked at the sales for Force. Would I like to do another Force miniseries, another American football comic? Yes. The sales don't match up though, unfortunately. Like I can sell it at a show. All my books I can sell at shows. I can move units at shows. It's convincing the general public that don't have the access to the comics as much as we do, convincing them to spend their dollars on something that isn't a big box brand. There's no offense to the big box brands. It's no offense.
Yeah.
But I want to do another one. But like Cash and Carry, I am planning on doing a Kickstarter for a third volume next year. It's one of those things where the book is gaining traction, but not enough to make enough money to where I can say I can take this money and go just boom, put it towards volume 3. It's not there. You know, it's not there. But on Kickstarter, it does have a good fan base, and so I figure next year we'll do one more of those at least.
Well, one of the artists who's done some work on Cash and Carry is local here to Albany.
Oh, for real? Oh, you talking about Marcus? Yeah. Oh yeah. Marcus is a good dude. He's a real good dude. Like I actually was on his show last night, Black Comics Chat last night, and like working with Marcus, it was interesting because what happened was this. Pardon me. All right, so this is what happened a couple years ago when we were putting together book 1. Like we had like the original Kickstarter story, which was like 12 or 16 pages, that was drawn by Penny Candy Studios. So we needed additional material, and so like we had like Andy Jewett do draw a short story, but at the same time I was like, well, we need a story in the middle that connects to the first story in the book. And I'd seen Marcus's art before. I had been on Black Comics Chat way back in the day, and I reached out to him and asked him if he was interested, and he was like, yeah. And so he did a hell of a job. So so much of a job that like when it comes to main Cash and Carry stories, he's that dude now. Like I couldn't do another Cash and Carry book if he's not the main artist on it, because he just brings such a life to the stories. They look like kids, they act like kids. The art's just a very inclusive style. He really cares. Not saying that no one else has cared. I mean, because every artist that has contributed to Cash and Carry does care. But the care that he puts into it is wonderful. And so yeah, I always like love working with Marcus.
He's always always willing to do an interview when I see him at like the Albany Con. So yeah. he hasn't said anything bad about you. So.
Oh, good. That's good. That's good to hear.
So,
that's good to hear.
I know that. Can you talk a little bit about your contribution to Luke Foster's? Because I just interviewed him the other night.
Oh, okay. Yeah. For his 8 Gunshots anthology. Yeah. I wrote a short story in 8 Gunshots. Let's see. I want to say it's called to kill a devil, or to hunt and kill a devil, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't want to give anything away. But it has to do with a predominantly black Western town that has been built. That has basically been built as a way of saying, y'all told us to like go over here because y'all didn't want us over there. So we built our own town. We have our own community. We have our own, banking system. We are thriving by ourselves. We're away from everybody because that's what y'all wanted. And then something bad happens, and the lead character comes back into the town and sees the tragedy that has befallen. And that's all I'm going to say. But what Luke is doing with 8 Gunshots is really cool. Like, I really like Westerns. I honestly didn't really get heavily into them probably until about a decade ago, and I find myself more nowadays into the spaghetti westerns, more than just like your standard how the West was won type stuff. But like, say for instance, like the Italian joints like The Grand Duel starring Lee Van Cleef, who looks like 85 years old, but he's like probably like 35 because he smoked so much, And the original Django, is wild. It is absolutely wild, and like I love watching that movie. So, but no, it was cool to be part of 8 Gunshots, and I hope it gets funded. Like Luke has really put his heart and soul into that book. I've seen the layouts, I've seen what it's going to look like. It looks great, and I hope that it gets funded.
Now, you're about 90% funded right now.
Yes.
Has this campaign been any different? Because I know, with everything that's happened and kind of people are pulling back, money wise. Did you take the extra week?
Oh yeah, I took the extra week. There was no choice in that matter. I had to take the extra week, and it has helped. I mean, we're in a situation where, we are getting close, if not in a recession right now. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't have jobs right now. A lot of people aren't getting paid right now. So I understand. Trust me. I get it. It's unfortunate that when I started this Kickstarter, the pandemic wasn't taken as seriously at the time, and we didn't know things were going to go the way they were going to go. But at the same time, I didn't want to stop because I wanted to do the Ignition Kickstarter last year, but we had some deaths in the family. So the multiple times I wanted to do it last year, I just couldn't. I was not emotionally there to do it. And so when I actually had the time to do it this year, then this happens. So it's challenging, and we're only $500 away, and that's the whole thing. It's it's $500, and so that's why when I make my posts, I specify and I say if you have the means, because if you don't, I don't want you stressing. You know what I mean? If you don't worry about it. Hopefully, someone does have the means, and we can get these last $500 for Ignition. Which, if you're interested in checking it out, I've got a URL that will take you straight to the Kickstarter page, and that's theignitioncomic.com, all one word. Theignitioncomic.com will take you straight to the Kickstarter page. And if you don't want to do that, just go to kickstarter.com, Ignition, and you should be able to find it that way too.
I will include a link at the end of the video.
Oh, well, thank you.
Address.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So I noticed that you have a lot of rewards. You have apparel, you have art, you have. How was putting that together? I mean, there's something for everyone, it seems.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Before working in the world of IT for a living, I worked in retail stores. Lots of retail stores, and also being a child of the '80s, we grew up with merchandise just being thrown at us constantly, just thrown at us. Whether it be toys, baseball cards, football cards, cartoons, video games, that stuff was thrown at us daily. And so I've always just been a big fan of merchandise, in the sense that it's something that you probably, with our Kickstarters, it's something that you'll probably never be able to get again. And so it's kind of like a one-time thing. And so you could say, I've got this shirt, I've got this beanie hat, I've got this bumper sticker, I've got all these different things. I've got this magnet. I got a poster set. All these things that, like I said, they're going to be short. They're going to be a short print run on all that stuff. And once it's gone, it's gone. It's not coming back. So yeah.
All my Action Lab T-shirts.
Oh, the Action Lab tees. I think I still got one or two left. I think I still got one or two Action Lab tees left. I used to also have a Action Lab University tee.
I have that.
Oh, you still got? Wow. Okay. Cool. So I it was cool. Merchandise is just something that's just really, really cool to do. And I wish more. And with Kickstarter, you could do stuff like that. I don't expect anybody that's just, doing this out of pocket to then just come up with all this stuff, because what if they don't buy it? Now they're out of pocket. But once again, Kickstarter allows us to produce the t-shirts, the beanies, the magnets, the mini poster sets, the bumper stickers to go along with the comic. And so you're definitely getting something that's one of a kind.
And you definitely have it, broke down on your page as to where, the money is going to. So, that's always, something that's, good, and, lets people know that you're serious about this.
Oh yeah. This ain't going to no offshore fund or anything, man. This is being used to make comics, make rewards, pay people, because people need to get paid for their work and time. The longer I do this, you got to pay people for their time, because especially now in these times, you have to. When we first started doing this stuff, when I first started doing this stuff 13, 14 years ago, I didn't understand half the game. And so you just can't do everything for the love, if you know what I mean. Like, yeah, the love is great. Doing stuff for the love is great, but sometimes, man, love don't pay them bills. Like love don't keep on the internet. You know what I mean? And so, love don't keep on the lights. And so, you got to do your best to take care of people. Like, 13, 14 years ago, I didn't understand that. But the longer I've been in the game, the more I realize you got to find a way to take care of people, and build healthy relationships, and that's one thing comics struggles with is building healthy relationships, healthy working relationships.
Yes. So, let's want to make a final pitch. Do the Stan Leroy pitch.
Oh boy, that's a nickname I ain't heard in a long time. I ain't heard that nickname in a long time. Between Stan Leroy and Baracko Comics, man, I tell you, y'all had all them nicknames back in the day for me. All of them. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But okay, if you want a comic book that has elements of Days of Thunder, The Transporter, Fast and the Furious, and a little bit of between, and a little bit of drama, I would definitely recommend that you check out Ignition. You can look at it on Kickstarter. There's a video for it. It's a short trailer. I'm not trying to keep you sitting down for 5 minutes to watch something. The trailer is like less than a minute, if that. So check out the trailer. Let me know what you think. You can check out the project by going to theignitioncomic.com. That will take you straight to the Kickstarter page. Or you can go to Kickstarter.com, type Ignition in the search header, and you should see it. You can't miss it. For those watching this video, I thank you for your time. Chad, I thank you for your time. And I hope y'all have a moment to invest in what we're trying to do.
Yep. So one last quick question. Are you reading anything that you're really enjoying at the moment?
Yes, and I'm glad you said that because I got them on the table just in case. This right here. This is the Masters of the Universe, the mini comics collection.
I want.
Like it's got like all the mini comics from like all the toys they ever made. Plus, it also has like those storybooks that they used to make too. Those are in here, and it's amazing like the number of artists that like now because we've collected and read comics for so long. And you're like, oh wow, look, is that Alfredo Alcala? Is this so and so? Is this so and so? Like so many people that we like that whose work was not credited, whose work wasn't credited is now credited. And so it's really cool. It's very thick. Do not throw this at someone; they will get a concussion.
You have the power of the book.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like it's cool. And it's even got like the newer stuff when they revamped He-Man like in the early 90s. It's got those comics. It's it's got like everything, including the She-Ra mini comics too. Okay. And I actually will be starting this tonight. It's called You Have Killed Me by Jamie S. Rich and Joelle Jones. I've had this for a few years. And like there's a lot of books on the floor, as you can tell, because we've been in the process of remodeling downstairs. And so I had to move a bookshelf, and I left all the books here. And I would say about 80% of those books down there I have not read yet, and I probably have them for like 4 years. But guess what? I got time now. So, I got time now. And so so I'm looking forward to reading that as well. So, yeah, that's what's going on right now for me.
I know that somewhere in my collection we have all the original the small mini comics. So they're just buried somewhere.
Nice. Yeah, it's this mini comics collection that they put together. They did a nice job with it. So if you like I say if you ever see it on sale, definitely cop it. It's worth your time, and it's even got like one of those nice built-in bookmarks. It's really cool.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, I appreciate you taking your time, and stay safe and stay healthy. And
yes. We
need more comics from you.
Well, thank you. Well, I hope to keep on doing this in one way or the other, and I appreciate your time, Chad. It was wonderful talking to you. Please don't be a stranger. Please, seriously, do not be a stranger. I'm always around. Like I said, like I got to keep this 9 to 5 so I can keep the internet on. Otherwise, y'all ain't never gonna see me. So, but no, I hope everyone that watched this video. I hope that like you go check out Ignition and support it if you can, and take care.
I just hope people watch the video.
Yes. Please.
All right.
Please watch it.
Well, we'll catch you later, and sounds good.
All right. Take it easy.